instrumentation, it is the subject where we have some discussion on how to implement various devices, circuits, and instruments in the field of engineering to achieve some task, to complete some task. Normally, most of the quantities that we encounter in the site in the field of engineering are non-electrical in nature. They are velocity, force, pressure, rate of reaction, temperature, mass flow rate, various non-electrical quantities, and we need to monitor them, we need to measure them, and we need to control them also. So we need to devise some methods by which we can measure them, those non-electrical quantities, okay, and later we need to control them also. Now let's see, okay, some of these quantities and see how to measure them and to control them, okay, we follow some procedures. Now, one thing we know that although most of the quantities are non-electrical in nature, but while measuring, if we apply various electrical systems, then our measurement will be very much accurate. Why? Because you know the heart of the electricity is nothing but the flow of electrons. And the flow of electron, it is governed by mathematical laws very crisply. So therefore, our electrical methods, electrical devices, electrical circuits, electrical instruments, they can be used very precisely, okay, to monitor and control those non-electrical quantities. It means that to monitor those non-electrical quantities, our first task will be to convert those non-electrical quantity into electrical form. Okay, just like we want to convert a pressure into current, a displacement into a voltage, a temperature into another voltage, maybe into some current also. Okay, so how to convert those non-electrical quantities into electrical form? Okay, that we will see here in this particular part. Okay, now one such non-electrical quantity that we want to address now will be the displacement. Okay, the displacement. So you want to measure the displacement, but not only the displacement, there are some more quantities we need to measure apart from the displacement. So our device by which we can measure, say, some pressure, some load, velocity, okay, acceleration, and displacement also. Okay, this is the that such device is linear variable what differential transformer. LVDT. If you find any problem, please interrupt me and inform me. So linear variable differential transformer. So without any further introduction of instrumentation, let's see this thing. Okay. So using linear variable differential transformer LVDT, we will measure what? We will measure, say, a short stroke linear displacement. We can measure means some small distance can be measured. Say when something is just undergoing a displacement, so the amount of displacement can be measured. Okay, so a short stroke, and it is also used to measure the displacement of some reciprocating device. Okay, now this LVDT, it is of extremely fine resolution. So it's extremely fine resolution. We'll see obviously the mechanism of LVDT. Okay, it has high accuracy and good stability. Stability means when it is used to measure the same quantity repeatedly, will get the same measurement. Okay, as long as the original measurement remains same. So the performance of the device does not change with time. It is very stable. Okay, and it measures what? It measures various physical variables. Physical variables. Okay, say for example, a pressure. Okay, load, velocity, and acceleration. Primarily, it is used to measure linear displacement, but okay, it is also can be extended. Its operation can be extended to measure some pressure, load, velocity, and acceleration as well. Okay, and LVDT, it forms the basic sensing element. So LVDT forms, okay, basic sensing element. Okay, in such measurement. In such measurement. Now, let's see what is that. First, we see a structure, okay, of LVDT. Just I am drawing it. Just it's a schematic, obviously. Mm, Now, just the drawing is almost complete. Now, this is actually what? This is the total structure, and there is some hole inside this, and a core is there, the core, and these are the cross section of the coil. Okay, so this is our primary coil. Primary coil. What is that? The coil is wound actually this way. So coil is wound actually this way. So it is the cross sectional area of the coil. Clear? Now it is also the other side of the primary coil. So when the coil is wound, the inner area is there. Okay, and this side is the insulating former. Insulating former. It provides the required insulation. And this is the secondary coil. So it is another coil. Okay, it is another coil. It is wound around this structure. And there is one more secondary coil. So there are two secondary coils. So there are two secondary coils and one primary coil. And the core is hollow. And inside this core, there is a core structure actually. A physical core in the form of some rod is actually mounted there. It is free to move inside the hollow space. So this is the core. Nickel iron alloy. Nickel iron alloy. And the core is free to move in both the direction. And this is our non-magnetic push rod. Non-magnetic push rod. And what is this upper structure? So just I am just showing you the dotted line. That is a covering. It covers the entire thing. So it is a ferromagnetic sheet. Ferromagnetic sheath. So this is also ferromagnetic sheath. This side. The whole thing is used to cover the entire structure. Now, why ferromagnetic and what is the purpose of each and every component? Don't worry. I will discuss these things. Okay. The primary coil is excited by some supply. So we can write some. Okay. We can apply some input or excitation. So some AC signal is applied. AC excitation. And there are outputs. Okay. In the secondary coil. That is one secondary coil. Two secondary coils are connected in series opposition. Their polarities are connected in an opposite way, so that this voltage and that voltage, their subtraction difference will come as the output. So when these are connected that way, okay, so it is connected this way, this, and our output is this one. Okay, so there it is, see, it is just connected in phase opposition, series opposition. So this voltage and that voltage, their difference is coming as the output. So this is our differential output. Differential output. Okay. And what is the core actually? So this is the core we know. Now, if we draw the cross-section area of the core, we'll see that it is not perfectly circular. There is a slot actually there. Okay. This slot is there. This is the cross-sectional area. Cross-section, okay, of core. And this one is longitudinal slot. So this is our LVDT, okay, structure. And this handle is non-magnetic push rod. It can be connected to some other moving structure. The whole thing will move, okay, with some certain frequency. So you see, there are how many cables? There are three cables, three coils actually. One secondary coil in the inner side, one primary coil, again in the outer side, another secondary coil. So these are the three coils. So these coils, we can say that these coils are three. There are three coaxial coil. That is one thing we see from the structure. Now, why a longitudinal slot is there? Actually, to reduce the eddy current. Okay, in the code that we'll see later. That is one thing. Second thing is that, okay, so three coaxial coils are there. Next is there that now, what is the insulating former actually? The thing is that thin-walled bobbin or former of bakelite, thin-walled bobbin or former of bakelite, Teflon, okay, ceramic or other electrical insulating material, okay, this insulating material, it carries the primary on middle section. Primary coil is held in the middle section, okay, and two identical secondaries on two side, okay, on two side sections. I just write it in the next page. Carries primary on middle section and two identical secondaries on two side sections. I go to the next page. After the end of the class, I'll just give you the PDF copy of this class note. And two identical secondaries on two side sections. Okay, so that is held there. And okay, and the core is free to move centrally, okay, positioned centrally inside the coil assembly. So it is a ferromagnetic core, obviously. Okay, so it moves in an axial direction. Now the displacement that we want to measure, okay, it is connected actually. The displacement of the any particular object can be measured how the object is uh, connected to this rod through some suitable linkages. So the displacement of that object will be transferred to the movable core. So once the object is undergoing some linear displacement, the core is also undergoing that displacement along the core. So the displacement is transferred finally to the core. Now, what is the purpose of using ferromagnetic sheath? The thing is that the ferromagnetic sheath it covers outer side of coils. Okay, why? It does two things, three things. One is that
Hello,
it
sir.
yes, yes, it
Sir,
covers,
it's okay now.
yes, it covers three things. First is it completes the magnetic circuit. It provides path for completing magnetic circuit. Means, let's see, say when a coil is there, some magnetic flux is produced there. The flux goes this way or goes that way, alternating flux, and then it finds the return path through this. One side in that way to the upper part of the sheath here, another is to the lower part. So the magnetic flux is actually completed through the ferromagnetic sheath. That is actually written here. Yeah. Next is what it does. It provides mechanical protection. It provides mechanical protection. Okay, that is obvious, obviously. The whole thing is actually encapsulated. And the third thing is it desensitized desensitizes device from effects of external magnetic fields. Means it offers some shielding. It offers some shielding with respect to the external magnetic field, so that the external magnetic field, if present, cannot penetrate into the okay. So these are the three roles that the magnetic sheath has to play. Now another thing is, I told verbally, still I'm writing, secondaries are in series opposition. What is the advantage of such connection? We'll see obviously. Okay. And next one is primary is normally excited by a sinusoidal voltage of 3 to 15 volt. These are obviously in RMS, you know, in AC always things are in RMS. And frequency of 50 to 20 kilohertz. Sorry, 50 hertz to 20 kilohertz. 50 hertz to 20 kilohertz. That is the range of frequency that we can apply there. And the core has a longitudinal slot for reducing eddy currents. That I told you, okay, because it interrupts the path of eddy current. Okay, and obviously there is a provision of linear bearings to prevent contact between core and coil structure. Okay, limits where and greatly extends LVDT operating life expectancies. What do you mean by this? All this? See the structure. So when the core is moving, it is sliding. So there is a rubbing action. It may happen. So there will be a wear and tear or the corrosion of the surface. So some bearings are connected in that, so that there will be very small friction between the fixed structure and the moving structure. And other things therefore are coming. The advantage is coming. It's evident. Note that after 40 minutes, you all know still I'm saying, since it's the first day of our class, there will be an auto cut. The streaming will be auto cut, and please click it again. We'll be back to the class. Okay. Just click again and we will be back to the class in the Zoom actually. It's a free version we are using. So there is a 40-minute duration for each slot. Okay. So that's all about our structure of the LVDT in short. Now let's go to the theoretical part of our discussion.
স্যার স্যার লাস্ট পয়েন্টটা আরেকবার বলবেন?
Last point, this is very simple. Say যখন তুমি কোডটাকে ভেতর দিয়ে স্লাইড করাচ্ছ, it's moving okay, to and fro. Then the thing is that this is the fixed structure and the core is moving. So if the outer surface of the core touches the inner surface of the fixed structure, it is what? There is a friction and rubbing will be there. So there will be a wear and tear of the material. Material নষ্ট হয়ে যাবে তো ঘষা খেয়ে। There will be a rubbing action. So some bearings are connected throughout this entire thing. Linear bearing. When bearings are connected in a circular fashion normally, but it's a linear fashion. Okay, along a length. It's called linear bearing. Okay, so that will prevent the direct contact between the fixed and moving structure. Clear? Okay.
Yes,
Now, বলো।
স্যার বলছি যে অবজেক্ট যেটার মানে আমরা ডিসপ্লেসমেন্ট মেজার করব, তো সেই অবজেক্টটা কোথায় কানেক্ট করব, মানে কোথায় কানেক্টেড থাকবে?
সেটা কোথায় কানেক্ট করব, that depends on the target system. Actually this side. Okay, say it may be there is some machine, say some mechanical part is there is a rotating part or a moving object is there. we want to measure what is the displacement caused by this particular thing. Okay, then in that say there is a crank, actually mechanical crank arrangement is there. You know, you have studied some mechanical things, so it's undergoing some linear movement. So when you measure that linear displacement, just connect the LVDT with that particular linearly moving object through some suitable linkages. তা যেখানে যে জায়গাটা যে কোনো টার্গেট সিস্টেম যেখানে ডিসপ্লেসমেন্ট মেজার করতে হবে, যে জায়গাটা যে কম্পোনেন্টের ডিসপ্লেসমেন্ট মেজার করব তার সাথে আমাকে এই এলভিডিটিটাকে এরকম জায়গাতে কানেক্ট করে দিতে হবে সামহাউ। ওকে, হাউ? বাই ইউজ অফ সাম অ্যাডহেসিভ, কোনোটা আঠা দিয়ে হতে পারে, বাই সাম স্ক্রিউইং অ্যারেঞ্জমেন্ট হতে পারে, ওকে, থ্রু সাম নাট অ্যান্ড বোল্ট হতে পারে, যে কোনো ভাবে হোক, ওকে, থ্রু সাম মোল্ডেড স্লট হতে পারে, মোল্ডিং রয়েছে, ছাঁচ রয়েছে, ছাঁচের মধ্যে ওটাকে ঢুকিয়ে দেওয়া হলো, কোনোভাবে দিয়ে লক করে দেওয়া হলো, এমন ভাবে যে সেটা যখন মুভ করবে, ইন সিনক্রোনিজম উইথ দ্যাট দিস পার্ট কোর অলসো উইল মুভ। ওকে, তার মানে এই কোরের ডিসপ্লেসমেন্ট মেজার করা মানেই হচ্ছে সেই মুভিং পার্টটার ডিসপ্লেসমেন্ট মেজার করা। ওকে, somehow now we'll see the theoretical theories. Okay, বলো কি বলছো? যার যা কোশ্চেন আছে সব বলবে, কোনো অসুবিধা নেই। ওকে, নেক্সট। Now next is some theories. Not some theory, there will be detailed theory in fact. Now the thing is that here consider that there is some excitation voltage, so some excitation voltage, that voltage is applied to a primary coil. Okay, a primary coil, and there is a core. This is our moving core. This is our moving core. Now EI is the input voltage or excitation for which some primary current IP is flowing through the primary coil. In the secondary side, there is one secondary coil and another secondary coil. Okay, in the first secondary coil we are getting a voltage of E1. In the secondary coil there is a voltage of E2 because of the coupling through the magnetic core. Now when the core is moving up or down, when the core is not moving core is not coming between the two coils, now we know that the core is a ferromagnetic material, so it can carry magnetic flux very easily. Okay, so when the core is present, the coupling between the primary and secondary coil will be quite high and more voltage will be found at that particular coil. When core is moving out, going away, coupling is less, only air is filling the space whose reluctance is quite high, so magnetic flux, its magnitude will be quite low, so coupling will be less between primary and secondary, so induced EMF in the secondary coil will be quite less. So depending on the core position, we will get the amount of voltage, okay, induced in the secondary side. The mathematical expression and everything will be found explained later on. Okay, so this is our core. So this is our core. Clear? Now this is, I am writing it, it is the displacement. Displacement is undergoing a to and fro motion, as the case may be. So E1, it is our secondary one, and E2, this is our secondary coil 2. Okay, now the two coils are connected in series opposition, means this side is connected that way and it's coming this way. Clear? This way. So So this is our output voltage available here. Output voltage, okay, E0 equal to E1 minus E2. E1 minus E2. That is our output voltage. Now note that when the core is symmetrically located, okay, with respect to two secondaries, okay, so I write it here. When the core is symmetrically located with respect to two secondaries, okay, it means what? Symmetrically located means that is the core is centrally located. Centrally located, okay, equal voltages are induced in secondary. Equal voltages are induced in secondary. So E1 and E2 will be equal. As the two secondaries are in series opposition, therefore our net output voltage will be what?
Zero.
Net output voltage is ideally, okay, ideally 0.